Hello everyone, and welcome back. Today, we're diving into a fascinating shift happening right now in the automotive industry. Have you ever experienced this? You save up diligently, buy a brand new car, only to have a newer model released just months later, packed with even better features. That subtle sting of, maybe betrayal. Especially when you see those newer models boasting the latest tech like advanced autonomous driving or cutting-edge safety features. If you're a PC user, this might sound familiar. But with PCs, there was always a solution, right? You could just swap out the graphics card, CPU, or memory. Upgrade the parts you needed. But what about cars? Until now, the only real option was buying a completely new vehicle. But winds of change are blowing through the auto world. A new trend is emerging: hardware upgrades. Today, we'll explore how the era of cars that can be upgraded, much like a custom-built PC, is dawning upon us, and what impact this will have on the auto industry and our buying habits. Let's get started. The automotive industry is evolving faster than ever before. The rapid advancements in electric vehicles and autonomous driving technology are significantly shortening the traditional lifespan of car models. What used to be a 7 to 10 year cycle for a car model is now shrinking down to just 3 to 5 years. This creates a sense of upgrade anxiety for consumers. You start worrying, if I buy this car now, will it be outdated soon? In fact, many buyers feel that sting we mentioned earlier when a newer, better-equipped model hits the market shortly after their purchase. Of course, over-the-air OTA software updates have become more common recently, partially addressing this issue. Companies like Tesla and many others are adding new features or improving performance through wireless updates. However, software updates alone have their limits. For instance, if achieving higher-level autonomous driving requires new sensors or a more powerful processor, a software update simply can't do it. You can't overcome the physical limitations of the existing hardware through software alone. This is where hardware upgrade solutions come into play. The idea is to replace key components in an existing vehicle to bring its performance and features closer to the latest models, much like upgrading the graphics card or CPU in your PC. So, which companies are actually offering these hardware upgrade services? This isn't just a minor patch. It's a comprehensive hardware overhaul covering multiple areas like smart driving, connectivity, and the smart cabin. Currently, Hongmeng Smart seems to be unique in offering such an integrated hardware upgrade solution. But other companies are providing partial hardware upgrades too. For example, back in 2022, Zeekr offered a free chip upgrade benefit to owners of older Zeekr 001 models. In the same year, NIO also provided intelligent system hardware upgrade services for some of its older models. More recently, XPU announced at its spring 2025 product launch event that it would offer a blue light hardware upgrade option for older models. Common examples of these hardware upgrades include adding LiDAR sensors, replacing the autonomous driving computer, or upgrading other sensors. For instance, adding LiDAR to a system that previously relied only on cameras allows for more accurate perception in bad weather or at night. Similarly, swapping the autonomous driving computer for a more powerful processor enables faster and more accurate decision-making in complex scenarios. These hardware upgrades unlock performance improvements that are simply impossible through software updates alone. To better understand car hardware upgrades, let's compare it to PC modularity. The history of PC modularity goes way back. With the dawn of the personal computer era in the early 1970s, demand grew for smaller, more powerful machines. By the early 1980s, the era of modular PCs truly began. One of the biggest advantages of a PC is its modular structure. You can replace just the parts you need: CPU, graphics card, memory, storage, making it more cost-effective than buying a whole new system. Customization based on user needs is another huge plus. Car modularity and PC modularity share some similarities. Both allow for component replacement to enhance performance. Both offer potential cost savings by upgrading parts instead of the entire product. And both enable users to adopt the latest features in a rapidly evolving tech landscape. However, there are clear differences. Cars are vastly more complex systems than PCs, and they are subject to much stricter safety regulations. Also, while PC components have benefited from decades of interface standardization, car parts often use proprietary standards specific to each manufacturer, and standardization is still in its early stages. While almost any part of a PC can be upgraded, car upgrades are currently limited to certain sensors, controllers, and specific components. Furthermore, PC upgrades can often be done by the user, whereas car upgrades are primarily being offered through official manufacturer services. So, how will this hardware upgrade trend affect car sales and the aftermarket? First, expect significant changes in vehicle purchase cycles. Traditionally, consumers might buy a new car every 5 to 7 years. If hardware upgrades become common, this cycle could lengthen considerably. Why buy a new car if you can add the latest features to your existing one? This might initially sound like a threat to car manufacturers, but it actually presents an opportunity for new business models. Manufacturers can shift from one-time sales to ongoing service provision. We anticipate new revenue models combining software subscription services with hardware upgrades. Market research firm IDTech predicts that automotive software-related revenue will grow at a compound annual growth rate of 35% through 2034, reaching over $700 billion annually by that year. They forecast that new car buyers could be paying up to $70 per month for software features by 2034. Furthermore, Stellantis forecasts its software and subscription services will generate €22.5 billion annually. Morgan Stanley analysts even speculate that Tesla could eventually make more profit from software subscriptions than from the hardware it sells. Several automakers are already adapting. Tesla uses OTA updates extensively. BMW experimented with a monthly subscription for heated steering wheels, though they rolled it back after consumer backlash. Volkswagen, through its Carrier division, plans to offer pay-per-use autonomous driving features. While these changes might lead to a short-term dip in new car sales volume, they could ultimately help manufacturers diversify their revenue streams and build more sustainable business models in the long run. The hardware upgrade trend is poised to bring several positive impacts for both consumers and the industry. From the consumer's perspective, the most significant benefit is cost savings. Upgrading specific parts, instead of buying a whole new car, can save a considerable amount of money. Plus, you get to keep your familiar vehicle while still enjoying the latest features. Extending the vehicle's usable lifespan is another key advantage, especially for owners of high-end new electric vehicles. The ability to keep their car feeling premium and up-to-date is incredibly valuable. For manufacturers, it opens up new revenue streams beyond initial sales, such as hardware upgrade services and software subscriptions. It also allows them to maintain an ongoing relationship with customers, potentially increasing brand loyalty. From an environmental standpoint, there are benefits too. Longer vehicle lifespans mean reduced resource consumption and waste generation. It also saves the energy and resources required to manufacture entirely new cars. Technologically, modularity can spur innovation. Manufacturers can focus on iterating specific modules more rapidly, which ultimately translates into better products and services for consumers. In essence, hardware upgrades can be a win-win-win solution, alleviating consumer upgrade anxiety, providing new business opportunities for manufacturers, and benefiting the environment. Of course, realizing the full potential of car hardware upgrades requires overcoming several challenges and limitations. The biggest technical challenge is designing for future compatibility. Manufacturers need to anticipate the technological trajectory 2 to 3 years down the line during the initial vehicle development and design appropriate interfaces in advance. This is a significant undertaking. It also requires complete control over the design of molds and interfaces for upgradable parts. Without strong control over suppliers, maintaining consistent interfaces is difficult. Take LiDAR, for example. Various suppliers offer sensors with different shapes and interfaces. If manufacturers don't standardize this, upgrades become very complex. Current technology also limits what can be upgraded. Core components like the battery, motor, and electronic control systems, the big three electric powertrain components. Upgrading from a 400 volts to an 800 volts platform or overhauling suspension systems are generally not feasible via hardware upgrades today. Business challenges exist too. Hardware upgrades could potentially cannibalize new car sales, forcing manufacturers to restructure their revenue models. Additionally, automakers with smaller market shares might struggle to spread the development costs across enough units. There are also legal and regulatory hurdles. Vehicle inspection regulations often weren't written with hardware upgrades in mind. For example, changing a sensor's location might be considered an external modification requiring separate certification. It also impacts used car valuation. How do you assess the value of two identical models if one has received hardware upgrades and the other hasn't? Standardized valuation criteria are currently lacking. So, we've looked at the background, examples, comparisons, and impacts of automotive hardware upgrades. This isn't just a fleeting trend. Hardware upgrades represent a potential paradigm shift for the automotive industry. The combination of hardware upgrades and software updates promises to alleviate consumer upgrade anxiety, extend vehicle lifespans, and offer new business avenues for manufacturers. In the future, it's highly likely that hardware upgrades will become a standard feature, much like OTA software updates are today. We could see automakers adopting business models similar to Apple, integrating hardware sales with ongoing services, evolving into a win-win model for both consumers and manufacturers. Of course, technical, business, and regulatory challenges need to be addressed, but through industry collaboration and continued innovation, these hurdles can likely be overcome. What will your next car be like? A completely new model, or perhaps a modular vehicle ready for future upgrades? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching. If you found this video interesting, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more content like this. See you in the next video.